Mm. 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 Mhm. Mm. Mm. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to this beautiful Friday tea time Ascension talk.
Friday, the last day of winter,
Mm.
right before spring equinox, Persian
Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, almost New Year.
Happy spring weekend.
I know, so exciting. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Instagram Live. Also, particularly our YouTube channel at Ascension Alchemists. Demetrius, hi. We'd
Hi
love
there,
to
brother.
see you on. Come on, also on our YouTube channel. You know who was on? We just saw, look. Oh my goodness. Arancha. So
Wow.
much love, darling. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. It's been so long.
It's been quite a winter.
Quite a winter. But let's start with now. Here's our new space.
Yeah.
This is our petite office, everyone. How do you like it?
We got all of our hearts. Can you see the pink? The pink has come full force into effect. I wanted to honor this beautiful pink in bringing forth the blossoming and blooming of all of this love that's being shared and all of the newness that's being sprung out.
Totally. Our pinky petite office.
And most important, the pink and the inner girl coming into our
and
flourish.
the inner boy.
And the inner boy.
Yeah. Just the inner child.
Inner child.
Yes.
But with inner boy, we like blue too.
Yeah.
We can take pink.
Course.
We can take pink and blue.
Hi, Angela. Welcome. Welcome.
Good to see you all. I know it's been some time. Thank you for your beautiful patience and just all of that's happened in these beautiful weeks. It's wonderful to see both. It's so great to see you, Arancha, for you to be here and to have all of you come and join us on this very special day.
Yes, so we have our little pinky flower here, tulip, and some pink carnations. Mother Mary is here, as she's always here. This right behind here is a ceremony that Michael and I did on 2021. And the writing represents, would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful because we feel like this has been our codes of honor and celebrating one another. And these are exactly what we are. I feel like we are inscribing. You know, it's important that I feel we write down what it is that we truly value. Right. We celebrate and we appreciate. And so it was beautiful to take that day and really just use our creativity, our art, and just share some beautiful ones, like hold each other with unconditional love, dare to face the limitation as it shows up, be compassionate to needs and values. Go for it. Read some.
Daily self-care, or super honest with each other. So these are like really our codes of love with each other. And I am huge on commitments and also like anything that's more ceremonial. So this was very significant for us in a 3-hour experience. We shed so many tears, and we just shared so much of our hearts together, and to be able to have this and this energy support us in our new space. So let me see if you can see. This is, some of you have seen the picture. This is our new pinky table as well, but I'm going to make sure I don't cut off Michael's head. And then we have some planter over here, geometric planter. Again, Mother Mary's here. This is one of my head dresses here.
Hello, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, love.
And we have, what tea do we have today? We have goji berry tea.
The goji berry tea. Goji berry, very important for bringing Chinese medicine. It's so good for nourishing the blood.
Yes, for sure.
and very heart related. When we eat goji berries, we bring joy and happiness. So goji berries are very good for the liver and kidneys.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. I felt like to just have this relax. So we wanted to share this Friday time with you, tea time, because it's been a while and we've missed everybody, haven't we?
Yeah, it feels like it's been
how long does it feel like to you? Honestly,
it feels like 4 months, 5 months, but it's only been 2 months, but it feels like it's been like,
for me, it feels like a year.
Yeah, it feels much longer, but time is weird because it's moving so fast,
right,
that I can't quite assimilate it these days, because it just seems like before you know it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, honey. It's like last night.
This week with the
time
change.
But have you guys felt that? Have you noticed within those that live in the States here, or those that have had time changes, how it's like time's moving so quickly, with which we love the fresh light and sun that's here to bring more of our dazzling, beaming rays, and yet I feel like the day has been going by very quickly. Yeah.
Wait, how's your seat?
It feels good. It feels comfortable. I like it.
I kind of like it if you were a little bit more angled. Can you get a little bit angled?
If I can. Okay. Right there.
So I told my guests it's going to be our corner office. So we can sit here, have tea, talk to everybody. And we're just trying to get adjusted here, how it is.
Yeah.
And also just come on, have a little tea with you all, catch up, because today being the last day of winter, I felt it's just so significant. I've been up since, I would say, 3 a.m.
For the past couple days.
Yes. Haven't slept a whole lot, but especially this morning, I was up at 3 a.m. Then about 4:23, I just went set an hour and a half meditation. So much was coming up for me, and I wanted to sit in there. And again, I was blessed to experience some of these energies that we have been blessed to meet, greet, and sit with, and then be with. So we get a chance to talk about that, and then also see what has been given the opportunity to present itself again, especially before the spring equinox, as we've been very busy this week cleaning, clearing, purging, purifying, and then also, especially today was your last day to be able to clean the closet, your portion of the clothes, right? Because I'd made the list for Michael. I'm like, Michael, you gotta take care of the clothes portion of it. Yeah. So very significant part of what we're experiencing, so it can match the frequency.
Yeah, it was interesting because I think all of you guys recognize when you can release some of the old energies, it invites the new energies. So how fun it is to go through the clothes, go through items that you don't feel you need anymore. And I love what Honey said, it's like, if this doesn't feel love or joy, then get rid of it. And it's easy because we can collect many things. We can, bring them up, and before you know it, it's like, why do I have all of these pants or shirts when you can just release that? And what we really appreciate is, like, we give it away. We give it to the Goodwill, so that it's part of our just gratitude to charity, so others that can really appreciate that could come in and enjoy the blessings and beauties of others. So it's absolutely beautiful. But before we get into everything, should we just ask how they're doing? See what's happening? How are you guys doing? Is this your Instagram Live?
So this is Instagram Live. We're so excited to have Instagram Live. Also, our beautiful
please let us know
YouTube channel.
Comments, questions, beautiful energies. How you been feeling, Angela, Lisa, Demetrius? On here we have Visionary, Stony B, Arancha, and who else do we have here? Illuminated Oneness. What a beautiful name. Annabella. Thank you for all joining us today. Any questions, any comments? How are you guys all doing? How is these beautiful energies treating you? Because it's been wild, I feel like we're moving in times that the frequencies, the energies that are coming in are allowing us to really expand into some beautiful new areas at this time. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, and on Instagram, if you can let us know what city, what country you're joining us from, we really love to know. So thank you for joining.
So Stony B said, "Hey guys, doing all right over here. Been getting a lot of clarity these past days and loving bright energy. Beautiful. Thank you. Where are you tuning into, Stony B? We would love to hear." And Annabella, liberation.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful. And Lisa, she's been taking it easy every day, lots of self-care and going inward.
Good.
Beautiful. Wonderful. So Stony B, she's coming from Longmont, CO, Colorado. Beautiful. That's right. I think Colorado CO. Beautiful. And Annabella is coming in from Portugal. Beautiful, Annabella.
Thank you. And Demetrius is London, of course.
Of course. Well, thank you guys for joining us all over the world. It's an honor that we can come on and share this beautiful love.
Yes. So we wanted to choose this new space, our little petite office, our sacred sanctuary office, which is right in our bedroom. Our bedroom is right there. For those of you who are on Instagram, let me just turn it around. You get a chance to see that. And that's, if you haven't seen the picture, our altar is right there. This is our new desk and a few other things. So we wanted to go live here because we usually do the live right in our living room, which we love as well. Yet there's this energy that is, whenever we've gone through transformation, I feel is very important to allow the outer environment match what's happening inside. So I've always been big on that. Whenever I've taught retreat or transformations myself to groups, I always say, when you go back home, notice you might want to change the furniture around, you might want to change the beddings, all of that. Really pay attention, because once we've gone through this inner transformation, the outer really wants to also reflect it. So last week I said to Michael, I feel that I really need to create a space for us here that can reflect what we have experienced individually as well as our union itself. So it can really support the frequency of where we are now. And this is why we had to take the time and space for ourselves. Whenever we are of this kind of, let's say, service as a union, when we come together, one part of it, in order to serve humanity, in order to serve our calling, we must be fully committed in service to our God self, our truth, our heart, our soul, our spirit. And there are times we put in positions where we have to disconnect from everything and everyone. And it is a double-edged sword, because in one part, you're of service to the community that you've been of service to, especially in this DC metropolitan area. We're quite a bit of service to the community. Yet sometimes there is this calling that's coming in that might by far much stronger, because it is blasting through the inner waves, because the new state of presence wants to come in. So as a result of it, we have to unplug, and it's very, very interesting place. And this is nothing new to me, because I've gone through this cycle several times where I unplug, and I've also been a witness that how it affects others. And before we go any further, I do want to say, for any of you, especially our YouTube followers, our not even followers, part of the community, that suddenly you saw us not being there, not as much present, I really want to extend just deepest love to each of you, and to recognize it's not personal at all. We have had to go inward, have had to unplug completely to serve the inner before we can come out and our own union.
Yeah, I love what Annabella said. She goes, in conditional love. And
Yes.
it's a perfect way to express it, because I feel, wintertime gives us the perfect time to really just allow ourselves to go inward and feel what's coming up, and really have that sacred space, which, to hibernate and to feel what wants to be heard, what wants to be seen. How can we support that time period where, yes, it's darker, yes, it's colder, but to really meet that space. And I feel that it's given us the opportunity, and many of us, as we all know, to really allow and feel what those energies are, because it has been a very interesting, challenging year. And when we really look at what's been happening, it's perfect to meet each and everything that comes up and how that unfolds, and meet that with unconditional love that allows us to really let it be seen, let it be heard, let it be supported in its fullest.
Well, yes, absolutely. And I feel that sometimes we have the consciousness of it, but when we take the action, what I was referring to is this how it impacts the community when you suddenly withdraw and you cancel. For example, for one full year we had Tuesday night meditation.
Yeah.
We had in person and as well as online, global. Then we've had this Friday tea time, so we get a chance to catch up with each other. So it's been like a real family gathering every other week. Then we've had the Sacred Sunday spiritual service, which has been that service from that like ministry. Then we have had, we've had continuously, but then to be totally unplugged, I'm fully aware of its impact of others. And for that, I just want to extend my deepest love to each of you that were in any way, shape, or form affected by this withdrawal energy. So there is the withdrawal energy of me, the withdrawal energy of Michael, the withdrawal energy of our union, because it needed to go through its work. It needed to go through literally, like the biggest cosmic, like car wash. If there was a cosmic car wash,
Cosmic crack would be even better.
well, it is, but it's like washing. It had to be cracked, purified, washed, and we literally both had to get cracked open. So when we enter a space like this, we just cannot be in communication with others. You have to go so in. And I feel today, by the way, do you know what day for me is today?
50?
Today, tomorrow is 50. So today is day 49 of daily meditation, sitting in daily silent meditation. Now, I've been doing 30 years of meditation, nothing new. But this particular thing is the commitment of every single day sitting in silent meditation of approximately minimum hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. So morning, night, sometimes also in between, but sitting in this space. So today's day committed 49. And when I was just sitting with that, Michael, today before we wanted to go live, I was like, my gosh, like I feel it's been a whole year. It doesn't feel like 49 days. It feels like I can't even remember January. Like it doesn't even make sense. I feel like it's been a whole year has gone by because so much has taken place. And so much has been transformed, transcended, transfigured. Like I feel I am a different version of me, but a version of me that I wanted to meet, that I knew was inside, to finally be more present.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like, and it was truly the death of many parts of me.
Yeah.
And particularly any kind of my story or anything. So that's why I've put everything on the side. And I can see you as well, like this different version. And it's this place like we were hugging each other what was it, yesterday before each other, just holding each other, we were saying that, wow, it's like we're resting in each other's arms because 4 years later, we're finally where we wished we wanted to be, right? It's been amazing, but we had this like 75% amazing, but we had this 25% that was so difficult. We just couldn't get ourselves wrapped around it, right?
I feel like it was like we've been going on like, I mean, we've been going so fast and so hard, but it's been interesting because I feel like, you know, if you call it a 4-year education and experience to fully go through, like we went through so many trials and tribulations and experiences, and all of them were perfect because they gave the ability for us to really see what wants to come up. And I love what you said about all of this, because it was almost like it was knocking on the door for both of us to see. And sometimes we have to slow it down just enough to see what is there to be revealed. And you know, when we let go of so many things, then we get to really see within of like, wow, look at all these areas that are coming up. And then before we know it, it's something that we couldn't even imagine to be seen. I mean, it was almost like so overwhelming that we had to take time. And that's what I really say, to really be present and to be real and to be authentic and allow yourself just to feel and to be and to really accept everything that was coming forward. I feel like there's been this beautiful energy of acceptance in the transformation, because wow, I mean, it's sometimes hard to describe in words of what happened, but all I can say is that I'm grateful for this crack. Like I feel like the heart just cracked open.
I feel our hearts. So if we were to back up for a while, let me just share this with you. I mean, there's so much to share around this. I feel the most important part that I like to share among this conscious presence that we're speaking of is that the amount of pain that I was sitting in, and the pain that I'm referring to is the emotional pain. Now, I am somebody who has, just like many of you, have done extensive, deep level of inner work, and also going to places that most people aren't even willing to go. But I will tell you this, for somebody who, you know, like has access to higher realms, is a transmedium, trans channeler, trans communicator, multidimensional, all of this. One of the biggest thing for me was, as expanded and open as I am, the way I'm able to communicate, and also discipline and all of that, bringing it in. What was happening was that the amount of pain inside of me from inside out was vibrating greater and greater and greater. It was literally like pulsing from the inside. Now, I am also somebody who, when I'm going through this stuff, I don't share it with others. I'm not one to pick up the phone on the phone to talk about what's happening. I'm just not. And I know some people get very upset because they want to know, they want to help, but I don't need anyone's help. Like it's very important for me that I go through the journey myself.
I think people just want to help you.
They want to help.
People just want to help.
Right, which is so beautiful. But for me, what is so important, I have to be in a very internal, inward space and not in communication with others, because it is an inward journey. What is being cracked, what is being revealed, I need to sit with it, not anybody else. And it's changing from moment to moment to moment. So it cannot be communicated with others. It's kind of like get a real timeline, like, because it changes so much and so much is revealing. So the amount of pain from childhood, and it really opened up with that cracking with my father. But you were the excuse on the outside of what
Catalysts.
you were completely the catalyst. What I like,
Perfect
I hit
catalyst.
the perfect was amazing catalyst because I hit my end. If any of you have experienced that, I literally hit my end. The end, what it was Michael was on the outside, the catalyst of that end, but it was the end of me, ending the suffering in me. And what was happening was the amount of pain that I was feeling inside that was calling from inside of me to meet. Now, this pain is so deep, like deepest level that I've ever by far experienced. So it required for me to go to that level. And so for a period, we had to crack so wide open. It was the most painful experience you and I experienced, like literally taking a time apart
Yeah.
so we can meet the deepest, most difficult hurts inside of us that wasn't just from this what you and I were experiencing, was from literally straight to childhood. Holy heavens, not even other incarnations. Let's just go to this incarnation. One by one by one by one, they surfaced. They surfaced each day. So I mean, so much happened. So I did go through the anxiety attack, the panic attack, all of that until I had to the purging. I had to face and be, and my sons helped me that weekend to be like, okay, mom, you gotta face this, and that was it. So what happened was, literally, I got to experience. I had set up all my life in a way just to protect myself. And that's the video that I had spoken to you that you all can watch on my own channel. Just to protect myself. This, my entire 48 years of life has been set up to protect so I don't experience that level of pain again. And which has been beautiful, but there's been this continuous protection.
And what was so amazing about that protection, and what I really learned about, because there was a comment that says like that we're all one, and then when we see pain and we feel pain, we're constantly learning, remembering, and seeing it not only within another, but also feeling that. And I thought one of the biggest gifts that came out of it, that I recognized the profound nature, is how pain, especially deep childhood pain, deep core wounds, because they're embedded into such depth, almost like into the subconscious, where it doesn't want to be revealed because it's too hard to see and feel, that our natural human body has the ability that it wants to protect that pain. And how interesting is it that most of us know that when that pain is here to be dissolved, to be transmuted, to be transformed, to release that, there's actually our own protective mechanism that it's not almost hiding, like we're protecting that pain. So that pain is buried deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's almost hidden until something to that level of catastrophic enormity, or really vibration and frequency, then can rattle that pain to awaken it. Because before then, it can remain hidden where we don't even know it's there. We don't
even know. So what was happening with Michael and I is, because our love is so deep and strong for each other, and the pain inside of us have also been so deep from childhood, so in a different way. So what was happening was that this love was calling in its liberation, yet the pain was surfacing. Then the pain wasn't fully being dealt with because we couldn't quite get ourselves around it, because it kept showing up in our field and it would hurt us. And we also wanted to, for me, I wanted to run away from it. You wanted to run away. We both wanted to escape it, but we couldn't escape it. So we kept running into a challenge in just this particular area. It was like a mad puzzle of 4 years. We couldn't figure it out. And And it had brought us to like, okay, let's break up, because it just hurt too much. But that's not what we wanted either. We just didn't want the pain anymore to hurt so much. Meanwhile, the pain all along was this childhood pain that we were aware of, yet when you look at it, it's been so held in the mitochondria, in the cells of us. So finally, we as adults are in a place where we can actually meet with it. So that's what the process was. So I started the process first. I started the process. I was like, okay, I am going to finally not run away. I'm going to sit with this. And I can't escape this anymore. And it was such a revelation because again, we faced it. What I'm speaking of is so deep. I got to welcome the pain like my children. And there were so many of them, one by one by one. So it was like all these children I had that I had abandoned, literally. That's why it hurts so much. And also same with you.
And
So
yeah, okay.
so I began that process sitting with it and meeting it, sitting with it, meeting it. And then this sort of like developed this practical tool around it, how to pause when it would show up, when it showed up, how to pause and then breathe through it, expand it, and expand the space so big so it held the space for the inner child, it held the space for my heart and also my adult self. And then that that energy was able to finally not transmute it, not transfer it, not transfigure it, not bring light to it, not cut it, nothing other than just be with it. This was so powerful. So every single day that began, lots and lots of tears, lots and lots of tears. And then I shared it with you, and then you began.
And what's so profound about that pain is, Dimitri said, something very powerful, and its simplicity is it's like layers of the onion.
Yeah.
And what I find was amazing is, all of us were moving through higher vibrations of consciousness.
Right.
And as we keep raising our vibration and raising our frequency, it's like peeling another layer of the onion.
Yes.
And so underneath, in that center part of the onion, are all the areas that have been, or really, the innerness is our trueness of who we are. But each of those layers are pain, debris, fears, illusions. And it's, when I feel this onion, it's like we raise in vibration, and then all of a sudden another layer of the onion falls away. And then another layer falls away. And then as it falls away, it reveals a sensitivity that is like, it's almost mind-blowing because
Well,
you're not
as I feel what happens is that as the energy vibration rises, because there's more light coming in, then it does highlight these areas that are carrying some of these vibrations that we weren't able to really meet when we were, let's say, children, because the energy has been stuck in motion there. So now that we're old enough and we're capable, we're able to meet with it. So then once we meet with it, once it's able to be fully accepted, and there's that surrender place, then this layer it just naturally comes out because we don't do it anymore.
And you said
you don't do anything. There's no doing.
Key is about that is what you said so beautifully. It's that surrender. Like it's like, we know that we took time off, but it's almost like that respect that as we all take time off during the winter time, just to surrender, accept, allow. I saw a comment like water, it flows. We go into this amazing force of where we're just, whatever comes through, we're allowing that to adapt to the situation that's arising. And I find many times, like when we see water, winter, fear, pain, these are energies that are coming up to the surface and to be welcomed, because really in our society, it's a lot of people don't really observe the pain. They push it away, or they don't really see the pain because it's uncomfortable. And right when we can start to take that time to be okay with the feeling of not okay, be okay with the pain, allow that pain to come forward, and to really embrace it all as it comes forward.
Right. Well, it is the pain that we're speaking about. So, one of the things I like to share is that most individuals process through the mental body the pain, which is important. You know, the hypothalamus takes care of some things, but until you bringing it to the emotional body, and then you brought it into the physical temple. The physical temple has to process all of it. So it's a whole body experience. This that you and I are speaking of is literally in the physical body. You're experiencing it at that degree, which is often avoided because it is that painful.
Yeah.
But that's where the liberation is.
Yeah.
This liberation that you and I feel, and we recognize it's not because just spring equinox is tomorrow, we're coming out of winter. It is going to be, the liberation is a state of consciousness that has recognized the inner war has ended, because there's that surrender. And the surrender is not in the intellect. One part is in the intellect, the other part is in the emotional body, the other part is in the mental body. So like I was sharing with you, there's no pulsing of resistance anymore. And it is going to be a continuum process for the rest of our incarnation. So there is no achievement.
Right.
There is no end process. And that's the liberation. It is going to be every day. So like today when I experienced that, okay, there's more. Let me go sit back. Here's this. I'm going to sit in this again because more surface. So then more surface. And it is literally a daily, every other day, whenever it shows up, here we go, which is a complete different state of awareness within this. I really want to call it a falsified spirituality sort of movement or community that, for example, wants to put things in the future, and also it has to accomplish this, which I feel none of that I resonate at all, because the true spirituality I feel, that I feel you feel, is right here in this now. That's why the word ascension, alchemist doesn't even resonate. We're going to be changing that, because then again, that's been putting it in the future, because it's constantly working on ascension, whereas the ascension is right here, right now. Are we able to meet the energies in motion right now, in as they show up? And are we able to just be with them without this doing part of transforming it, which we've done, transcending it, all of these things. So it's like a whole different, complete shift of lens, focus, just, and it feels so liberating.
Yeah, it's beautiful because this process, it provides such a deep level of authenticity.
Yeah.
And what I've honored about Honey, because most people that know Honey, when she chooses to do something, she just doesn't do it at 80, 90, she does it at 110 billion%. And to watch this process of, when we say liberation, it is this letting go. And what I love about this letting go process is, as a lotus opens their flowers and let the petals go, there's this beingness, this blooming of love that I'm seeing for the very first time, because it's so powerful to see as these layers fall away, these labels fall away, these images fall away, these fears fall away. Then there's a whole new being. There's a whole new reverence of how we live and what we do, because like you said, there can be so much energy focused on the future. Yet when we're in this moment now and we allow ourselves to really let go, then there's something about ourselves that are like, wow, this is the new version of me, but it's really not new. It's been there all along.
All along. But we couldn't reach it, right?
Right.
Because the energy was much more focused on, like, it was, I would say,
Really
just
focused on the
cluttered,
outside.
and also on the outside. Whereas, like, there's this space now because so much has been cleared, but not because we went in there, cleared it, because we just happened to met with the energies. Just naturally on its own, it started to detangle and evolve. So there's this space, there's this level of love you and I are experiencing. It is really like for the first time, but it's because we've touched that inside of us. That's like, and then it just wants to be shared, and it's like it has this lightness. You know that joke, why do you know why angels can fly?
I've heard the answer. Go ahead. I remember.
Because they're so light.
Because and it's funny because that light has to be applied toward that element of darkness. Because I remember during this time, honey, when you first started and we were taking that space apart, how powerful it was to go through the deepest fears. And when I say go through it, like not back down, like go see it, feel it, go through it, and then allow every emotion, every thought, every feeling, every aspect of energy come through, and then watch what happens. And it was like this, it was this unbelievable transformation, like the phoenix rising. Like you see a part of yourself that falls away, and you look back and you're like, wow, look how much this fear has had a hold over me. And that fear, when what I recognize with myself in this transformation, that fear really didn't allow the full expression of my love because I was holding myself back due to giving the power away to that illusionary focus of the fear, which again, we all know the fear is much worse than we actually think it is, or even greater, the anticipation of the fear is much worse than when we meet it. And it was phenomenal because when meeting it, it really gave that opportunity to just cry and howl and chant. And
would you say we like cried an ocean? How much have you and I cried?
I mean,
it's like this past, I mean, we cried so much.
I feel like I should have less weight on me from the winter about the amount of tears I have.
Cried. Wow.
And the liberation.
And the darkest space that we got to see each other go to. And to, I mean, the depth of fear that we got to see, just witness in each other.
And what I appreciate about that was I love how the timing of it happens, because it literally was like right after the inauguration and in a time period of the winter time where it was the coldest part of the winter here. From our, in the mid-Atlantic, January, February was the coldest time. So to meet that darkness and the cold of the cold. And I remember like being at the ocean, the wind was howling, the snow was coming down on the beach. There were things that, and just to embrace that coldness, and it felt like I was like this soldier that was just allowing myself to keep going through it, keep walking through the cold, keep walking through the dark, and keep allowing that energy to just move through it in a way that I know on the other side, there would be this beautiful gift awaiting. It's like the intuition within is like, it kept reminding me to keep going forward, no matter how hard it was, no matter how challenging it was. And really what I appreciate and look back at is no matter what was going to happen, like there was no expectation, or there was no dangling carrot. There was no like, I'm going to do this for honey. I'm going to do this for a relationship. It was more that inner journey of saying, okay, this is what I need to do for myself, because this is for my own independence. This is for my own freedom. And it takes that revelation to really go within oneself to feel what is necessary to say, okay, like you said, it's almost like you have to be so tired of it and so exhausted from it that it has to come up where you're like, no, this will
I
no
feel we
longer
were
serve.
exhausted of some of our own belief system that was limiting, and we were able to see it in each other, which also hurt us because we knew we wanted to be liberated from that. And it, the weather could not have been more collaborative with us, because how cold it was, how much snow, all that is something you and I both don't necessarily like. So again, that was part of meeting what is not our preference,
Right.
and force. It was like a true forced lockdown inward. That's why I couldn't talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, had to just every day meet this place. And also what was so interesting is to also have the so-called, like, let's say, lack of a better word, relapse, if you would call. So then, like, for example, 1 week would go, Michael would do so good, and then something would come up, and then he would take like 4 steps back, and then again, or a few times that would happen, or like I would go through it, because it's not what we're speaking of. There's a lot of compassion.
You kind of go up and down.
Well, there's a lot of compassion, but I've been pretty consistent, when I like pretty consistent. And there are times that you have something more inside of it that ties into that inner child, that shows up, that has to be, then it throws you around. And then you take 2 or 3 steps back, and it sometimes it feels like, oh, you're going backwards, whereas no, you're going even deeper.
Yeah.
And then it takes you a couple of days to come back, but you come back faster.
Yeah.
And I feel that there is a continuum. There's no perfect straight line at all. And the other part that I like to share, what was so important for Michael and I, particularly for me in this process, I had to let go of everything that I knew. I had to let go of all the prayers, all the decrees, calling the guides. I had to completely stop the way I would do my morning prayer for 7-8 years. The light, calling the light in, calling the master, meeting with the entire spirit guides, the guardians, like everything that I've been such a part of, I completely disconnected, shut off, because it was so important to reset, but go sit in pure silence. And that means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Sit in nothingness because usually when I close my eyes, I see all the images, nothing.
Right. And just to go
and just breathe.
And to elaborate that, she was still connected to the divine and still connected to the higher spirit. It just, you weren't using.
No, of course you're connected.
But I'm just expressing,
sure.
when you said you disconnected, there was not that protection. There wasn't relying on them as a source of protection versus letting go of that attachment so that you can fully feel the silence and the energy that comes forward. Because what I really,
so I'm glad you communicate that. So just to clarify that, so most of you that I have a very strong practice in the morning, good hour when I would sit in there calling the light, calling the masters, communicate with many different ascended masters, the galactic team, the angels, the archangels. I mean the rays of light, the kohans. I mean all these different ones that I also, when they're channeled through me. I mean there's just so many, and the ancestors. So what I had to do with this, completely stop all of them and just sit in pure silence, where all of them are there, but I'm not calling him in, but I'm going to the deepest core of that pure silence in the breath, which is a ginormous eternal space of oneness. and that's it. So this is like hours every single day. So within that space, then whatever would show up in my field, I was able to meet with it. And then this great eternal presence was able to then just allow through the beingness meet the energy that was of my childhood show up. So there was no calling light protection put around me, the call, none of that. And I'm still in the same process, and I'm not planning to do that. Still not yet. This is day 49 because this feels very aligned right now because there's still more to go.
And it's been such a beautiful journey to witness because not only did you let go of that, but you gave yourself, for the first time in a very long time, just to let go of service to everyone else, but truly place the service within yourself. And I feel like
this was the first time ever.
If I feel like when we can really give ourselves that complete service, and it's not easy because there's many mothers and many beings that have to be on call, if it's caretakers, if it's meeting ends meet or doing the things that we have to do, but to give this space where to not be in service, to not be on call, to still hold your motherhood and your being a daughter for your parents, and just allowing what came forward was such a gift for you to really not do anything but be.
Yeah, and just journal. So I made just the food making a lot of food for Michael and my son, and just incredible amount of exotic foods and that expression, and then journaling every single day, and no planetary work, no healings, no even nothing. I had to be completely disconnected so I can just be in the presence of this great presence and allow what the great presence wanted to bring forward, so I could feel this level of liberation within me, and then also for you to experience that, to be of support so that you can experience, so then we can experience the union, go through it. So then this union find its way, the stuff that the energies, emotion that it also had to meet, so that we can be like, wow, look at the way this feels now. Like again, we saw when we met each other for almost 4.5 years ago, this is exactly what we wished for, we wanted, but we just couldn't quite get here.
The timing of it was I feel like we both had to go through, with my father transcending, with the divorce, with all these things that had to go through. Somehow that priority was not given, but it was a perfect element because the liberation and what I find, just the empowerment of what has happened, I feel it's given that deeper motivation that when something does come up, when the fears or the limitations that are arising, it's like, go sit with that immediately, because once we sit with that, it's like each time that it comes around, it does not have that same pull. And I've seen that not only with me, but I've seen that with Nevan, your beautiful son, of like when energies want to really test. I feel a lot of it's these tests that want to come along. Our mastery comes along and says, how are we going to now move through this situation? And it's very easy to kind of like bypass that. It's easy to jump over it and to keep ourselves busy or allow ourselves.
Which is so much within this spiritual community as well. Like, we do use, let's say, social media, and especially social media as a vehicle of distraction quite a bit, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, and posting all of this and continuous, and there's this desire to create content, yet there's this thing is calling, and it wants us to be withdrawn a little bit so that we can be more inward. And so when we took off entire month of February, you can see, wow, how interesting that is, and the space that opens up, and how much we we are being distracted to sit within this space because it's frankly uncomfortable. So we rather serve others, everything else, even planetary or the pets or the children, rather than be here because this space in here is much more hurtful. So let me do something good that will make me feel good, which is beautiful. Yet, as much as we open up to the divine self, the more we gotta bring it into these bodies, and it's gotta be brought into this physical template. The whole physical template is the entire divine embodiment in which you can't escape it. You can forgive on the intellectual plane, easy, no problem. But the emotional body is going to communicate its signal or otherwise. And you can try to escape the emotional body, the physical body is going to communicate it otherwise. So there is truly no way to get around it but completely in it, saturated deep inside of it. And only when you have gone to the depth and it starts to detangle, that's when the lightness naturally comes. So there, you cannot really truly do forgiveness. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of forgive. On the mental plane you can, but when you're able to go in it and you're able to be with it, be with that. For example, like as an example, let's say scenario from the childhood that brought, let's say with our father, that screamed so much and caused so much. We can come and say, I forgive you, Father, I forgive you. But the emotional body hasn't gone through the process. So it doesn't recognize the intellectual. So you have to meet the energy as a child that brought up, that you were frightened, that you were scared, that you felt hurt. So you have to meet with those. And once you meet with those, then it starts to unwind in your body. Then that liberation, that lightness naturally is the result of the energy moving forward, which is the forgiveness. So, but again, there's this faulty perception that I'm going to go forgive, which is nice, but it doesn't work. That's why then there's more triggers. That's why it repeats in others. That's why it continues like that cycle.
That's why acceptance is almost like the perfect nature of forgiveness, because when we go through that acceptance, you see how that reacts in our body. I mean, this body, it's such an amazing process when we see how the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, but yet this instrument of ours, when we really see the transmutation, because of course we are designed so well and we can really do our best to avoid everything on the mental, emotional, spiritual. But how amazing, like now it's like our physical body is the one symptom or the one great awareness that can't escape it from it all, because it's like, one thing that I love, what we've spoken about, is when these energies come forward, where do you feel it in your body? What's it communicating? What's it allowing you? Because you can't escape it from your body. You can't run away from it,
because
right?
You have to embody it.
You have to embody and
earth it.
And it's amazing because we can look outwardly, and of course we can blame and we can judge and we can look at everything on the outwardly, and that's okay, and that's whatever that level is. Yet that energy outwardly is only releasing and instigating and creating that catalyst to clear within, because once it's cleared within yourself, there's no effect anymore. Whatever's happening outwardly, it's not affecting you because those are small.
It doesn't signal the trauma response anymore. And it is very difficult to be a human on earth and not have experienced trauma. this is the planet of cause and effect, and there is a lot of trauma response. And how's it doing?
Good. I'm just stretching.
Yeah, trauma response. So the other part that I wanted to share about this is this space also where I'm going through so-called menopause. It's not really menopause. It's I call it mini pause. Like mini pauses I've had to have because turning 49 in a month and a half, all of these things finally came up, which in my body is like communicating from the kidneys and liver and my heart and lungs and thyroid and eyes, like all these different organs were communicating it. So it couldn't have been this perfect mini pause to communicate all these other pauses, which were the pulses in my body that were signaling continuous signal of trauma response. So that's what took place, to sit back and sit with every trauma, but at such a deep level. So the traumas are really loved and they're not signaling anymore. And so I can go through this gracious life-changing experience of this mini pause that is reminding me for the next journey of my life, okay, these things can't be part of it anymore. You can't be suffering like this anymore. Like, you're now moving into the liberation and joy. You've served your part. It's your joyful time. And I feel what causes so much of the menopause with the challenges in women now that I'm seeing is because all these emotional, mental, physical pains that have not been met, suddenly they all come crashing together. And even like so-called the night sweats, we've been laughing so much better, or the flashes of heat, because the flashes of heat come to purge and purify all these energies of motion. So I'm discovering so much, and I'm so looking forward to helping other sisters of mine that are starting this journey of mini pauses, because these pulses are communicating the changes, but they all have to be met. And there's this, we have this kind of like a, how do I want to say, lack of a better word, like not a technique, but there's this real personal navigation, very simple navigation that we have gone through, which is this pause, right? Breathe, expand, that we can help others go through. And I'm passionate about, especially many, whatever ages individuals are, to assist them to go through the process, because now I can really see what this actually works. All these other things I service, they're fantastic, but none like the simplicity of this, to bringing it in and anchoring it where it is sustainable, actually grounded and sustainable, and it works. It's nothing temporary, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's beautiful because it gives, I feel like sometimes when we look for energies or solutions or answers, there's a complexity, or there's an energy that seems like it has to be done in such a difficult nature. But when we can bring the simplicity of what our gifts are designed to do and utilize them immediately, it allows transformation to happen so quickly. And I want to speak with your, I love the word mini pause, because
instead of menopause,
because I feel for many women there's such judgment and beliefs on how we go through our journey. Even as a man speaking on behalf, but very passionate of the depth of education and just seeing the Western aspects of what has been proclaimed in hormonal replacement and all the areas that the Western, so unquote, methods are. And then seeing from the Eastern perspective, and even when I was in China and recognizing with many women, especially in the clinics, of talking about how the West, there's such a dramatic shift, but in the East, you don't see as many signs, or you don't see such a shift because they're already engaging in their natural elements or the natural flow of looking at this as a wisdom, as a source energy that's moving through them. So they embrace the changes, and as they embrace the change, for them it's like this celebration that you're moving from what we would say maybe as an adult to an elder, because you're shifting that nature of like, oh my goodness, in the West we hold on to youth, and youth is exciting, and I'm letting go of what I used to be and what's happening now versus what wisdom is being brought forward. And really what I find is the ability for us to, help many see what they already know, remind them in ways that can give them that empowerment, so that it doesn't have to be this ultimate like time period of, oh my gosh, my life is changing. Well, change is happening every single moment.
Embracing the change, and like in such a healthy, remarkable way, not this stigma that comes with it, in such a graceful, beautiful way. And so going through this, I feel so blessed to have worked with an amazing naturopath, Lee, who's a dear sacred sister, and also Michael. So it's been 6 weeks. Michael has been working on me twice a week with his acupuncture, front of my body and the back of my body. And so we're monitoring, we're going through these additional things with embracing the changes in such a beautiful way, non-resistance, also non-label, non-fear-based consciousness that the Western brings to this mini pause, coming into this mini pause in life, so that we can meet finally all these energies in motion, because the next level of life is presented to prepare us for afterlife, after this. So there's a lot of gifts being brought forth, but there are emotions with it. I'd have cried over my sons being older. I did hold them the other night, hold their hands, and just cried my heart out. I mean, they're tall, beard and everything.
But leaving the home.
Yeah, and my younger one is turning 18. He's a senior in high school, so he's finishing. So I did just cry my heart out. And the beauty of being able to meet the beauty, how my heart feels, and all of these things that are to be embraced, and there's no shame around it, and to change the consciousness that is so judgmental, that for women that go through this menopause state, and also same like when they go through puberty or the pregnancy, there's a lot around that. So it's been very, very beautiful along the way of our own interpersonal transformation. So that's just kind of give you a little wrap up of what's been going on. And we both felt like we're in a place where we feel, especially after March, we'll be traveling, then we come back, we'll be able to help those in private setting, like one-on-one, just to help them navigate this in a very healthy, supportive, gentle, loving, gracious way, where they recognize there is actually nothing wrong. It's just that these traumas of the past have finally surfaced. They have been there, but you're capable of handling it in a very beautiful way, and acceptance of all that is. And I feel that's what the process we have gone through, and that we're going to be helping others individually and also together, helping other couples, others that need it. And
it's a perfect time.
It's a perfect time.
I mean, I feel like with what we're moving through, in letting go of all the limitations, all the false beliefs, all the deprogramming that is naturally happening and rising, how important this process can help people, because these tools are here for everyone, and I
Yes.
feel like we've been
Everybody
given.
can do it too.
Exactly, and I feel God gave us everything that we've need, and it's already inside of ourselves. And I love, like, just to imagine, even when I wake up, like, everything's already within you. Everything is already there to help support you. It's just really diving in and listening and feeling of that interintelligence that's allowing us to move through it. And the more that we can trust, the more we can take this time to really believe and honor this, then what's happening outwardly, again, doesn't have such an impact. And one thing I recognize personally is when there is an old limitation, it's like a fun game to say, how can I be more limitless by clearing the limitation that's holding me back from what is abundantly divine awaiting for you?
But again, we don't go in to clear it.
Right.
We're just being with the energy that shows up, right?
Witnessing what comes up, because that limitation is
a communication.
Is only coming up because what we recognize is anytime something is coming up, it's on its way out.
Yes.
And it's beautiful to imagine, no matter what pain, what feeling, what sensation, how right, how wrong, whatever's happening, it's coming up to be cleared in that moment.
Because it's already clearing. It's just moving, moving like the clouds are moving. So it feels really wonderful. And I feel like a couple of the things that have come out of this, like I'm helping a dear sacred sister as we shifted the energy of this space. She called if I can help her create a sacred sanctuary space in her bedroom, which I've done design for various people before. So I'll be helping her because there's a part of this that is applied to that, so it can match the frequency of that transformation that feels so aligned, and it's just it's harmonic. So that way our sound can really easily vibrate properly. Yes.
It's so beautiful. It's an exciting time that I feel many of us that what we're moving into. And obviously we're speaking a lot, in this spring blossoming equinox in the northern hemisphere. So we also welcome those beautiful sacred beings in the southern hemisphere that are moving from that are on the opposite end. And that opposite end is allowing them to shift where spirit's being called. So we're grateful to be back. We're grateful to allow everything to happen in a natural, aligned state. And I feel this peace and balance is becoming more of a present way of living. And we recognize many times we have these conversations of, society and programming puts you in this fight or flight survival future-based being. Yet when we can just be in our present moment, be in our hearts, share what's right in front of us.
Right here.
And most important, breathe into the acceptance of it and feel it. Then it becomes this evolving journey. It's like, breathe into it.
So good.
Expand into it. Feel it, and just allow however, whatever to blossom, because it's all guiding you. It's all
Let's
moving.
take a deeper breath.
Yeah.
Let's take it together. Let's do that again. How about one more time? Feels so good. So good.
Such beauty in the presence. Such love. And
And we've been sitting at nighttime, just sitting in silence, breathing with each other. So good. And wanted to share with you, some of you had asked whether we'll be doing our Tuesday night meditation. We don't know. How often will we be doing Friday tea time? We don't know right now. We'll be doing Sacred Sunday spiritual service. We don't know. And we love the space of we don't know. We have no idea. What we do know is we're just going to breathe and go through one by one. We are traveling end of next weekend, so that's going to be important for us. And we're just welcoming what comes up, and we feel we're going to embrace these changes one by one. Both of us are feeling from inside a different way of service, and we want to honor that and sort of allow more of a fluid structure, just like how it's been before. My morning would be so strict with the prayers and all that. I've let go of all of that. I feel both of us have let go of everything. So then we'll see what wants to present itself. So we don't have a program or anything like right now. We do have a private gathering Sunday, for a very, very small group of people for Equinox. We're so excited for that. This coming Sunday, right? For the spring equinox. So we can just really embrace them from this place we are, just tender, loving care. Most of our events have always been so hardcore with ceremonial, very deep purification, cleansing. We're doing none of that. Just gentle, because we're in the presence of this divine mother energy that's been holding on. That's what this pink represents, this divine mother that, my gosh, and the inner child. So
the
important.
Innocence of the lightness, the playfulness, and the ability to really bring that that flow. When a child plays and a child ignites their purity, it's such a blessing for us adults that sometimes we get so serious or we get so caught up in the moment. And yet when we can play with that inner child and allow that,
and we're allowing more of that, right? So we'll see how that shows up for us. And if you want to just, Michael, for a second, let's read a couple of the comments. Kimberly joined us for a second. So can you see?
Yeah, I can see. So thank you, beautiful Lisa, and all the wonderful energy that you've expressed with the sunshine and the purging. And
good on you, Lisa, for taking the time inward. Good on you. We're fully celebrating.
We're very grateful. And I'm sorry, I'll see if I can go above the Instagram so that I'm not cutting them off, because we're very grateful for you guys too. Stony B staying through the whole time with Demetrius.
So
thank you. With Angela, who she said she had to leave because she's planting her plants, but she said she's doing pretty well with many changes and upgrades. Sorry, not saying much today. I'm planting many plants in the beautiful energy space. She misses us both. Big hugs.
Love you.
Thank you, Kimberly, for being here. She loves her space.
See you soon.
Angela definitely agrees, feels all the sunshine. She, as always, is right in unison, since she said she had to get away to her new planted seeds.
Yes.
So thank you, Lisa, for your freedom, our freedom, and thank you for the pink and the inner child. We're very, very grateful.
Yes.
And Stony B, thank you for all your beautiful comments and just tuning into our wonderful live stream today.
So grateful.
It's a gift that we get to, very rarely we go on Instagram. So, and then we have some new names that you're probably familiar with or not. All these just joined for a little while, but
so beautiful. We get to share that. Thank you so much for all your comments here. Very, very grateful to it. We love the space right now. I feel like it's more the inner space Michael and I are in, and we've been cocooned in this space, and this was our coming out from sort of this cocoon space and welcoming more that wants to unfold. We don't know what life holds for us, yet we're very excited for whatever is unfolding before us, because we feel we both have now a different set of tools that we can apply, that finally this one area that was so troublesome for us has been able to be, I don't know if I would say healed. Would you say?
I would say it's been enlightened. I feel like when we can shine the light on the areas that have been hiding,
Yes.
we can give greater awareness and consciousness, because at the end of it is like, it's all consciousness.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about everything that we've gone through is that consciousness is here to expand, to grow, to lift, to ascend. So it's our greatest ability to share from the love that we experienced it, because many are going through this, and when they can hear this and they can feel it, and there's just pure discernment. There's pure discernment, pure discernment that we can look at without judgment, that we can have the ability, hi Maida, how are you doing? Good to see you. When there's pure discernment that we can face that, then it takes the power away from our beliefs, because those beliefs are rooted in the programs and judgments that we're holding on to. So I appreciate that as we go through this, we're sharing it from our love, our learning, our appreciation, versus what our mind may want to create of a critical thinking, a rationalization, or an internalization of it. So I feel there's a light that's being shined upon us that gives us greater awareness, greater context of what has been evolving, and what I personally see is what is blooming to a higher birthing of all the love that wants to naturally rise.
I fully agree with everything you shared, Michael. And I feel like that state of true transformation has its own frequency that has been harmonized, has been literally, because it's been detangled, there is this space where it's breathing, just breathing. So everything that's already there, which by nature is already love, it vibrates itself from that internal state outward. So it's just effortless. This is now that which we always hear. It's in the beingness, not doingness. You and I have gone to finally taste exactly what that is. There's no and we feel we've just scratched the surface, the tip of the iceberg of what this, and now we're really both hungry and thirsty for more. Because I know for myself, I just cannot, and I will not go back to any of the way I was, because I love this new me and more of this new me that is here to express itself.
And wouldn't you also say it's not really the new you? I feel like it's always been you.
No, it's always been you, but it's like it feels newer.
Right, it feels newer because it hasn't been expressed. What I was saying is, it's like
it's the truer you.
It's the authentic you.
The authentic you
that is allowing to be seen, where
it's expressed.
Where it's being seen from a place that's always been there, and it's been noticed where from your child, in those moments where there was just that pure presence, and now because that is coming up in such a dynamic way after many, many years of us, both of us, the collective of society, of that pace that we've all gone through, and now come back to that beingness of what has already been there. It's that presence of the soul that's like, wow, here are the natural characteristics of your kindness, your joy, your love, your playfulness, your ability that has always been there, and now it's just shining so much louder because all those other areas have been, like you said, disentangled, like they've been released, so that the original you, the light of you, the love of you is now just glowing. And that glow is such a powerful, like, exemplification of what we are and how we can shine that each day and each night.
And the you you're referring to, Michael, is not just me, is that you, the real you, which is all of us. And that's where I'm speaking, that's scratching just the tip of that iceberg. Wow. So this is like what we really are. Like, this is amazing. So, and more of it, and more of it, because from here, this month and a half, whatever, 7 weeks, we have completely disconnected from things, and no watching, no video, nothing going. We don't know anything with, even alternative news and all that. How liberating it is, because we are able to experience the trueness of the self that is within the authentic self of all humanity, and how beautiful it is, and how wonderful it is, how this being in nature every day, we get to experience the vibration that is lighter, the peace, the love, the joy. All those vibrations is our nature of what we actually are. But because it's cluttered by all of these other energies, we're not sustained. We're not sustained in it. So the process that you and I have gone through and continue to go through and will continue to go through daily basis for the rest of our incarnation is to meet these energies that doesn't allow the fullest vibration of this, which is what humanity is, to express itself. So our job becomes not fixing anything on the outside. We directly go right back in. We see it outside, we go back in. We see it outside, we go back in. We see it outside, we go back in, and meet again and again and again with the energy motion that showed up, so that we can be with it, we can breathe with it, and it begins to detangle. And that's truly changing the world.
That is the journey. That is the journey which we're very excited to share with you guys today. It's wonderful to be back on Tea Time. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for old faces, new faces, and the beauty of what has been come forward with Honey and I in this new space.
Our newer version, our petite office. Our petite office.
And
I love that you were pinky today too, Michael.
Thank you. I went to honor the new year, the spring equinox, and obviously the pink that's coming into our room that may end up being, almost like the new girl.
We're birthing a new little girl.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So we are going to be with family tomorrow for the spring equinox, but it is the Persian New Year. We got to clear everything, get everything set up, a little bit more to go, so we can be with family. And family has been a huge part of us. We're very focused on our family right now.
It's been a blessing to hold the foundation through all of this.
For all of that. And we love you. And feel free to reach out. We will be available mid-April. Because we go to California, we come back. Then New York. We will be in.
And I'm still available.
You're still available. I've taken off, but I've taken off.
I love the fact that we are on this journey. But
I'll be seeing clients, because I've had clients waiting. I'll be seeing. So I have the project with this sacred space design with my friend that I begin next week, and I have some clients that I've been waiting, taking them through this process that we've been going through. And also, Michael, you in May,
and we'll just continue. Well, even continuing now, what I've been really expanding upon, as many of you know, in the beautiful shamanic alchemy journey to the 4 elements of that, not only being for those on Zoom, but recordings that for those that missed the first classes can still receive them in recording fashions, and also the Sacred Divine Heart Listening, where that gives the opportunity to reach a lot that are not in the local area, but to bring forth that beautiful healing.
But you have one more class left,
yeah,
right?
one more class.
So Michael started a 4-part workshop of shamanic alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the last part next Saturday.
A week from Saturday will be
That's
my last one.
That'll
be the last class, and I feel that's going to open up a whole new chapter for the upcoming months. So I have one more class, but those that want to still receive the first 3 and then the final one, they have
you can
that
still
ability.
take part because Michael recorded the sessions.
Yeah.
And then we'll be in South Carolina end of April,
yeah. And
in
then
Bluffton,
and then I just
for private healing sessions we're doing, right?
And then I just confirmed on April 18th at Rising Phoenix Holistic Health Center in Manassas, Virginia. I'll be doing a day of private healing, and so it's been a beautiful gift as this beautiful honeybee has been nourishing herself and taking that time for yourself. I have taken that time to also really be in that journey, but also hold the fort down and the energies that still need to move forward in the day-to-day world of the 3D. And so I've been honored to really rise in that with healings, with teachings, and just expanding and thriving as we move into this time.
Michael continues also for those of you who in the DC, Washington, Maryland, Virginia area for private sessions, particularly those of you who have not had deep, let's say, acupuncture, shamanic massage, shamanic healing, clearing, private session, you can come have that with Michael here. Or if you have a community somewhere where there's 3 or 4 people you can schedule, Michael is happy to come to you for that. I will start my private sessions mid-April for those who have reached that. So slowly we're coming in honor, but again, no structure. So we'll just announce when we feel we're ready to do another Friday tea time.
That's great.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah, we love you. And thank you so much for your
here.
comments. Thank you for being, and thank you for your patience. And thank you so much for all the love that you extended to us during this time that we had to take off.
Yeah.
And may you also take off if you're feeling called. Give yourself permission. If you were to share one thing to everybody, like what would you share? Like through this, that's what I would share. If you're feeling inside of you, you need to disconnect and you need to be with you. Please give yourself this incredible gift. Everything can wait. No problem. Go honor you. It's the greatest gift you can give to everyone and humanity.
I feel the power of the presence gives us the most beautiful opportunity to dive into our self-love, and this experience has given both of us to recognize that self-love is extremely important because it's the honoring, the celebration, the appreciation, the nourishment, and the ability to really feed this temple, this magnificent vessel that is here to really do such magnificent service. And when we can take care of ourselves first, which is definitely a journey. It's a journey that we've all gone on from that